What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back with a little bit more Leeds United news. Fortunately, no incomings as we're getting used to this now. But listen, it is what it is right now in terms of what the club are doing. We just have to be patient. That's all we've got, people. Listen, before I continue, please hit the like on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and drop your comments afterwards. Thank you to Karen Curtin for a super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated for the support. Not going to be too long today because there's really nothing much to talk about. I was hoping that we'd possibly have an incoming to speak of in the next video we did, but that is not the case. So let's just get into it, people. Um, as I just get this up here, some more news in terms of more investors coming in. Russ Westbrook, who for me as an NBA fan, I know Russ very well in terms of who he is. For Leeds United fans that don't know who he is, he's earned a lot of money throughout his career in basketball. One of the best, triple double players of all time, probably the best at triple doubles. But yeah, I mean, off the pitch is what you're probably concerned about is, he's just another one of the investors in the 49er enterprises. And you just wonder as well, with this kind of investment, because he did speak about this, and there is a video. If you go on Eben Novi Williams's tweet, there's a video from Sportico, I think, where he talks about it, and he got talked into it by his manager, and you just wonder. I wonder if that's the reason why the 49ers takeover took so long, because maybe the investors, were keen, but as a Premier League outfit, and then when we got relegated, they're like, oh, I don't know if I should invest in this anymore. You do wonder if that could have been a conversation, because you can imagine the agents of these players or business advisors, financial advisors of these guys who are willing to invest go, it's not a very attractive asset anymore. It's not a Premier League asset anymore. They're down in the Championship. I know the guy did correct his tweet, by the way. He knows we're not a Premier League club anymore. He did correct himself. But yeah. Uh yeah, I mean, no to ambition, more investment, no investment in new players. Yeah, I don't know what we're waiting for, people, and I'm not even going to speculate. I'm not going to try and guess as to why we're waiting. People can talk about the takeover all they want, not being ratified, but we've made moves already. We've got two players in the youth academy. How have they been signed? It doesn't make any sense to me. We've got two players in the youth academy. We've hired a goalkeeping coach. We've got a new temporary technical director in Nick Hammond. It's not Nick Hammond. Is it Richard Hammond? Whatever it is. And we've also hired Daniel Farker. So we have made moves in places. Are we really trying to say that the only thing that we can't do is recruit first team players? I find that very hard to believe. Lee Goldapier asking the question, why do billionaires need investors? Because that's how they stay billionaires, Lee. Quite simply, Lee, when rich people stay rich by not spending much and using other people's money, that's how it goes. Elon Musk buying Twitter, he didn't use all his own money. He would have got investors involved in that as well as part of the takeover bid. That's how you keep rich. Exactly, Derek. That's how they stay billionaires. But yeah, so yeah, Russ Westbrook on board. Nice to see another name. It would be nicer if we could get some transfers in, because then maybe I'd be a bit more enthusiastic about this. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be speaking about any BS rumors that have just come out today. I mean, I've seen one talk about Sam Byron. I'm not going to talk about that now until somebody with a bit more credibility talks about it. And also the Willie Nanto stuff again. Sky Italia. I mean, they've been trying to move Willie Nanto pretty much since he broke into the first team here. So again, until that's got a bit more official credibility to it, I'm not going to speak about that here either. Let's get on to the departures. I mean, we knew this from the last one, but there it is in black and white, or in color, I should say. Rodrigo out in Qatar for Al Rayyan. Good luck to Rodrigo. He's the one that departure that we've got a transfer fee for, which is quite nice. I know we've got loan fees here and there, but yeah, Rodrigo out in Qatar. It's so weird seeing so many departures out, and the worst thing is, people. I'm not even sad about any of these departures, man. I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. I don't feel contempt. I don't feel sad. I don't feel nothing. I just feel like, okay, bye. And it certainly is the case. Good luck to Rodrigo. He seemed like a good guy anyway. But it's certainly the case with Rasmus, who, again, is out to Roma. and he's doing all the shots again, looking solid as he did when he signed for us 1 year ago. And it's just like, it's like, all right, man, see you later. Rasmus here is out to Roma. We spoke about it in the last video, but obviously these shots here just officially confirm it. This was the one that made me laugh, though, from Football Italia. Rasmus Kristensen was so keen to join Roma that he booked and paid for his flight to get to the capital from Leeds. And I'm sure there'd be plenty of Leeds fans that would have said they would have driven him there themselves. So there you go. And just, I mean, this is from Roma's account. I mean, if only they knew, eh? If only they knew what this picture could mean. But good luck to them, man. Listen, they're not here anymore. All the best to them. Honestly, nothing bad to say about them. Just no, that's what I'm saying. There's just nothing there. I've got no feelings towards any of these players. Lee saying Rasmus looks the part, but terrible footballer. He absolutely does. I think we're thinking that he's going to be some new Viking. He was nowhere near it, was he? He was nowhere near. He was soft. He couldn't stand on his own 2 feet. Awful, man. Awful defender. Absolutely woeful. And Paul Lane, he's saying good luck and riddance to all the movers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Captain Elwood saying the fact I'm not bothered about these outgoing show how unimportant they are to us. Exactly that's exactly what I'm saying, man. It's like you should be more upset that we've got so many outgoings in a row. They seem to be going by the day, it seems. But I just don't feel anything. Nothing at all. Even for Rodrigo, who had a real solid season for us last year. My thinking with Rodrigo though is his whole time here. I don't think we got the value out of that transfer besides last season. And for me, that's just not enough for me to go, oh, you know what I mean? It's just not enough for me. But it is what it is. He was softer than fresh blood. But yeah, let's move on from that. Like I say, I'm gonna be here very, very shortly, man. This is gonna be a very short show today. Because there's really not a lot to go on. But listen, let's move on to a. Oh, okay, I clicked it off. Let's move on to a story or from a link, and I want to speak about this as well, just in general. Sam Surridge here, who we were linked with, the Nottingham Forest striker is close to joining Nashville, right? Nashville. Captain Elwood, yeah, we can't get rid of him because the clubs that will go in for him can't afford them, I'm afraid. I'm talking about League One clubs. But yeah, and Richard, yeah, would still like to move more on. It's quite clear in that friendly, Richard, there's still plenty to be moved on. Pervader, Shackleton, obviously the usual ones, Ailing, if you can get a buy for him, Bamford, there's so many to go, but yeah, it's a lot of work, and that's just why my feeling at the moment is that we're not going to be competing for top two, and I don't think it's an outrageous thing to say. But listen, somebody else who obviously wasn't up for the fight of a promotion challenge was Sam Surridge. Now, listen, I don't again never pocket watching for what players do, but at 24 years old, you would have thought that he would have probably liked to stay in England or more competitive league. Now, for any American fans who take offense to that, that's cool. But he's 24 and he's going to the MLS. And if he was apparently linked to Leeds and a host of championship clubs, he's chosen the MLS. Now, listen, Sam Surridge, the way he looks, he'll probably be a big hit out in Nashville. He'll probably have a good time down the strip. It seems like a fun town to be in. But 24 years old, going to the MLS, that kind of tells me that he wasn't going to be up for what we need here at Leeds United anyway. And for 5 mil, you can keep that. He's not worth 5 million. And this is it as well. Sam Surridge, who doesn't score goals anyway, if he had come here and done his usual thing that he always does, which is not score goals, I think he would have just been another one of those that just hide, or oh, I've got an injury today, I can't play, not face the music. I think he would have been another one of those. I'm sorry. That's just the way I see it. I didn't rate him as a player. I didn't want him, even when people trying to say 2 million. I wasn't having it. I want an actual goal scoring striker. And for me, this next stage in his career, good luck to him, honestly. And I'm sure he'll have fun out in Nashville. But that just shows me he wasn't going to be up for a promotion fight with the size of the club that is Leeds United. Um, let's have a look. But yeah, I mean, just and just in regards to people like Sam Surridge as well. It kind of shows you as well. I mean, listen, Phil Hay, trust me, he's one of the good ones, man. And I always say with reporters and even Fabrizio, sometimes they get reports and names from agents or clubs that are trying to move players on. So they'll just throw it out there and hope that they report and it garners up interest. But so far, what we're seeing from the list that Phil Hay, originally put out is that we're not in for any of these players. There's no proof to say that we was in for Surridge. There's no proof to say we was in for Ryan Manning. It really is a case of that nobody, absolutely nobody knows what the 49er enterprises are up to. Not one soul. Not one soul. They can keep linking us to players all they want, but we have not signed one of them. And they all seem to be moving elsewhere, which means that they're not waiting around for Leeds United to get their house in order. So for me, this is again is one of those things now where you just have to, whenever you see a rumor, just take it with a pinch of salt. Don't get married to the player. Don't think, oh God, we've got to get this player, because there's nothing to suggest that any of the players that we've been linked with are coming to Leeds United. Not one thing. Lee, I said this, Lee, when I saw some of the deals, I mean, I'm seeing some of the transfer fees for people like Jordan Henderson. I'm saying, listen, we got an England international here, Saudi. Come get him. Come get him, please. I beg you. But the thing is, for me, would he move to Saudi Arabia? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think he'd be one of those people that would move. But exactly, Saudi, we've got a fit Bamford. He's fit right now, isn't he? Let him go. Um, Captain here saying, still holding on to the idea that the 49ers are cooking in silence. I do too, Captain. I haven't been swayed from that either. Just from everything that they've done and from what 49ers fans have told me, that not one of them have ever said that they run business badly or that they run it publicly. Sometimes they'll get moves or trades from their football teams and they'll get them the next day. They wouldn't have even heard them the day before they hear them the next day. And I kind of feel like that's how they're moving here. Like I said, with Nick Hammond, not one report had him coming to Leeds United, not one single soul. And I think that is going to be the case with transfers too. But Katrina, that's tremendous. The Saudis are rich, not blind. You know what? That's tremendous, Katrina. I like that. But yeah, listen, I know it's worrying for a lot of people. Listen, I'm concerned as well. I mean, going back videos ago, I was saying about hopefully we get assigned on the 1st of July. And we're now on the 15th, people, and there's not one incoming. And as much as people think that the nucleus of this squad is good, and I do believe that there's talent there, we are missing a whole bunch of important players in this team. We've got no real goalkeeper. We need a first choice goalkeeper. We need a left back. As much as Hilda can probably play there, we need an out and out left back. We need central midfielders, goal scoring midfielders. We need a striker. That's the problem. You can have Cine, you can have Willie Nanto for as long as they're going to be here in this period, but they need people to put the ball in the back of the net. There's only so many chances people like Sinistera, Nanto, Somerville, while they're here, will create. But if you've got no one putting it in the back of the net, what's the point? We saw that last season, didn't we? How many assists were players robbed of because we didn't have a proper, real striker who should wear a number 9, putting them in the back of the net, not even putting them all in the back of the net. How about just putting 5 away last season and we'd have probably been okay? But that's the problem. We can have all the creativity all we want, but we don't have the spine and we don't have the finishers in the team. Nige D, we need 7 to 9 upgrades. Yeah, for me, easy upgrades on that. But at this point in time, I mean, when does the transfer window close? September. I mean, there's still time. It's going to be during the season, but we've got so much to clear out, Nigel, and we've got so much to bring in. And that's why I just think, for people that think we're just going to automatically go up, I just wonder how. and you're talking to me, people. I'm somebody that I try and look at the better spot and think this is how we could do it. But I'm seeing the people involved on the pitch and even against Man United and seeing some of them play football again and thinking, I don't know if these guys can do it. And by the way, people, we also have to remember that these guys that are going to be involved, if we weren't to get anyone in, have been losing. They're classified as losers right now, and they're going to have to get back into the idea of being favorites in some games. Can they handle that pressure? I don't trust these guys to handle that pressure. I don't trust them one bit. We've seen what they could have done against teams last season when we were when we were possibly one of the favorites. I go to the West Ham game where they were half drunk, and we couldn't get the job done then. Anytime there's pressure for some of these guys, they fold. And I just don't know if some of these players are going to be up for it, being favorites, being expected to win games again. Have they got it in there? I don't trust them, man. And you know what? It's not on me to trust them. It's up to them to prove me wrong, because for 2 years, these guys have been stinking out the joint. Now, let them prove something to the fans this time. Um, Mr. Tom here saying, important to remember Sheffield United got promoted despite losing 11 games. A non 100% start in August is not a death. No, it's not, Mr. Tom. 100% it's not. And you even saw, you said Sheffield United there. They had transfers, embargoes. They had key injuries at times as well. It is possible to go up, but I'll reiterate, and again, it sounds egotistical, it sounds arrogant, but the pressure at Leeds United is way bigger than at Sheffield United. It's just the way it is. And whenever we've seen it through time for our last period in the championship, whenever some of these players at Leeds United can find an excuse when they're not performing, they will certainly use it. And that's what I just worry about with this team. Yeah, I've already said I'm not going to be talking about this. It's from I'm not going to talk about it until it's a credible source. Katrina Katrina saying Farker's going to age 20 years by Christmas. Yeah. Look, with Daniel Farker, I've said, we've got the actual coach here. We Out of all the relegated teams, we've got the best one. When it comes to proven pedigree at this level, we've got the best one. But you still need the tools to do it. You could be the best decorator in the world, but if you haven't got the right materials, it's not going to look great, is it? So he needs to get players in as soon as he can. Captain Elwood saying, "Do you not fancy Class and KG? I think he looks all right. Definitely not prem level. Oh, but could do a job." No, and I don't like that phrase, "do a job." I hate that one. Whenever someone says "do a job," it means that you're accepting average. No, for me, I think we could go for a more experienced goalkeeper. For me, I want a more experienced head in there. I'm sure Klassen has got his plus points. I would possibly send him out on loan. I don't think we should sell him, but maybe put him out alone. I think I did say that in my buy sell video. I would possibly loan him out just to see what he's like over a longer stretch of games. Because like you say, we keep seeing him in bits and pieces. That's cool. But then we've also seen our under 21s. I know that the team was weaker, but they got relegated and stuff. So yeah, listen, no, for me, I want a more experienced goalkeeper in there. Isaac leads with a super chat. Thank you, Isaac. Hi, KG. News broke. I've just said, okay. News broke that Sam Byron returned on trial. Look, we don't know if that's true, Isaac. You know what? Let me have a look now before, just in case, because all I've seen it is on Footy Insider, and I'm sorry, those are not the best places to look for news. I'm afraid it's not a very reliable source. Um, I haven't seen anything in regards to Sam Byron from anyone of credible nature. No, but seeing as you've put a super chat and people keep mentioning it, I will have a look now. So let's have a look. It, no, look. No, it's just via Footy Insider. I'm afraid I'm not going to take that as a source worth talking about. But thank you for the super chat, though, Isaac. Um, Darren here saying, I think Robles is good enough. Yeah, so do I, but he's not at the club, Darren. He's possibly back on trial, maybe, but he's not under contract here. So there's no point talking about him until he signs a new deal here, or if he goes somewhere else. He's a free agent right now. And as we've said at the start of the season, there are no first team transfers right now. Um Paul Gray here saying 3 weeks until the season starts, not getting any positive vibes from the club. Worried that we're not going to be anywhere near promotion challenge next season. Yeah, I've already said I've made my feelings clear with this. If it's not promotion, it's failure, because we're down from the first season of Premier League football, parachute payments in hand, and if we don't take advantage of that, we're going to be stuck again. I can feel it. It's Leeds. It's not Norwich who can yo-yo. It's not Watford who can yo-yo. This is Leeds United, man. It's a different pressure here, but we'll see. Um, Ted here is saying many of these Leeds articles are non-factual gibberish. It's true. That's why you got to. That's why you've always got to be careful of what you choose to believe or take in. For me, and that's why I don't talk about every rumor that comes across, because anyone can make up a rumor. And when it's Leeds United, I said it on the last stream, you will get traction, you will get clicks, and you'll get engagement. Listen, on my For You page, and I hate that For You page on Twitter, by the way, but that second tier pod is certainly glad that Leeds United are back. You know, they every so often they bring out like a Leeds tweet or something. They love the engagement because it gets loads of clicks, gets loads of likes and everything else like that. It's easy money on social media to mention Leeds United. Nige saying what's happened to Darlow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've heard nothing else since that article from Phil Hay. We've heard nothing, and that's why I'm saying, even with Phil, he would have been given information. He wouldn't just make it up. Phil's a stand-up guy like that, but he would have been given information or names from agents or something like that just to get their names out there. That's usually how it is. um uh, but yeah, anyway, listen, so yeah, there you go. Sam Surridge, thank God that is not happening for Leeds United. Lastly, I was going to talk about the ticket pricing, but I think they've kind of sorted that out with the away fans of everything else like that. I always just say, though, we used to charge big prices for the championship when we were really crap, and I just want to see that money. I'm not really bothered about the pricing of tickets. I'm afraid I look at it more as, if you're going to charge those prices, people are going to pay them. Let's see the product of those prices on the pitch, please. That's what I would say if Leeds are going to charge £47 for an away ticket in the champ, which is mad. It is mad still. But hey, listen, Pablo Hernandez. I'm only mentioning this because we're back in the championship, and for me, Pablo, I can't think of many players that were better than him in the championship. I need to make sure I say that though, because you know, he's not one of my favorites of all time, but in the championship, he came up clutch for us many times. Whenever we needed a goal, whenever we needed something, he would create it or he would score it, and he was magnificent for us in the championship. So happy retirement to Pablo, man. He did so much for us in the championship years, really did. And this was before we had Bielsa as well. You could see, like, oh man, I wish we got this guy a few years earlier in his career. But what a servant to Leeds United he was. You know what I mean? Is there anybody that comes close to Pablo Hernandez in outside of the Premier League era? Can't talk about Premier League players because he's not in that class. But is there anybody that's better than him? I find it hard to think. I don't. Snodgrass wasn't as good. He was good, but he wasn't as good as Pablo for Leeds. I'm talking. Max Gradle wasn't as good. It's hard. It's hard to think. But yeah, Paul Gray here. Yeah. Happy retirement, Pablo. He's fantastic in the championship for us. Key reason we went up in 1920. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, Sam, yeah. Sam saying Phillips and White. Mm, mm. One year of Ben White. I mean, he was impressive, but to say better than Pablo, I'm talking about for Leeds, by the way. Obviously, Ben White is a better player now. I'm talking about in the Leeds careers. Um, yeah, I mean, if he had stayed longer, Danny, I would say that as well. Samu Saiz, I thought he was so good, but hey, you saw what happened with Samu Saiz in the end, didn't you? But yeah, he was fantastic. But again, I think Pablo probably did it for a little bit longer for us and in real key clutch moments. You know what I mean? He's someone, I mean, you talk about Sam Surridge earlier, who's hardly done it in the champ. Pablo is somebody that had the mental for the championship. I will say though, as with everything with Leeds United, he should have, left for his hometown club after we got promoted. But as we do with everyone, we hold on to him just for a little bit too much longer. And he was really found out in the Prem. He just did not have it in the Prem. He looked like a passenger in the Premier League. Unfortunately, the games will pass them by. But in terms of his championship legacy, it's 30, absolutely 30. Gary here saying Pablo was a leader with a never say die attitude, the type of player we need now. 100%. He was like I said, he was somebody where even if we didn't look like we were going to score or even close to getting a goal, he would pop out of nowhere, nutmeg somebody, give you one hell of a cross, or a nice shot or something like that, and he would get us back in the game or give us the impetus in the game. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, man. Um, so so yeah, good luck to Pablo in his retirement. I'm sure he'll be back at Elland Road at some point, probably this season for a little hello or something like that. I'm sure that will happen. I'm sure the club will look to do that. But yeah, listen, people, that is it for today. There really isn't much else. Is there anything else on anybody else's mind before we get out of here? Like I said, there's not a lot to talk about, I'm afraid. There's not a lot of incoming talk from any official sources. If you want to believe Footy Insider, go ahead. I'll wait on that one. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Please hit the likes on the video if you haven't already. Drop your comments below on anything discussed. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Listen, hopefully, people, we got some signings to talk about because it's already tough enough being in the championship. I'm not gonna lie, but with the state of the squad the way it is, it could be it feels kind of bleak right now. Not gonna lie, it feels a little bit bleak in comparison to how I thought we would be at this point of July. I thought we'd be in a little bit better shape. I'm liking the outgoings that have gone out. That all well and good, but I wish we had a few players to supplement the first team squad. But yeah, listen, people, peace out. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, at the next signing video, maybe. Peace out. Have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you are.